Hey there. I hope you had a great long Labor Day weekend. I am Bernie Miklasz, and I'm back, and I'm glad to be with you again here on The Bernie Show, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And I always like to do a little promo here before we get started. Here at St. Louis Sports Central, STL Sports Central, I do one video and one column per day from Monday through Friday, and also visit with Randy Carricker on his show every Friday morning. You can hear me frequently on KMOX 104.1 FM. I do a weekly Seeing Red podcast about the Cardinals with my longtime friend Will Leach, and you can catch me on the Cardinal Territory video podcast with Katie Wu. One more favor to ask. Thank you very much. Please do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel at STL Sports Central. Please hit the like button on your videos, our videos. And please feel free to comment. Doesn't matter if you want to get on me and jump on me and rip me. That's okay, too. It's all good. I appreciate you just for watching this and let me know how you feel. Today's topic, in case you didn't know what a rebuilding team looks like, well, the Cardinals provided a pretty damn good glimpse over the Labor Day weekend in their dreadful performances in those losses to the Reds Sunday in Cincinnati and to the A's on Monday at Busch Stadium. There was really bad starting pitching. There was a young and vulnerable bullpen. There was a group of hitters in the two games who struck out 27 times and only drew one walk in 18 innings. Maybe it's me, but I'm thinking when a team strikes out in 37% of the plate appearances over two games, chances of winning, not good. Especially if your pitchers are, yielding bombs bursting in air, right? We saw a St. Louis team that in the two games was out homered 5-2. We saw Sonny Gray get walloped for 3 homers on Monday's loss. He was terrible again. We saw a team that was outscored 18-7 in the two games. We saw a very sloppy, disheveled team that was charged with 4 errors in the two games, including 3 against the A's on Monday. And actually the defense, the defense wasn't good in some other ways that weren't reflected on whether an error was charged or not. It's a team that was beaten up by injuries and had to go with a lineup that was split between the Major League St. Louis Cardinals and the AAA Memphis Redbirds, with no J.J. Weatherholt in sight here in St. Louis. It probably makes sense why put him in this environment at the tail end of a lost season. The Cardinals were a quadruple A team over the last couple of days. Really, it's been a while, but the last couple of days in particular, stocked with an extremely short supply of proven and good major league hitters, along with a collection of guys who spent much of the season in AAA with Memphis, who may or may not be legitimate prospects. These rebuilding Cardinals, these resetting Cardinals, these in the middle of a regime change Cardinals are, to put it lightly, a work in progress. And just don't like the way it looks, right? If this is kind of this is what it's going to kind of look like over the next 2-3 seasons. Ooh, okay. If this was indeed a sneak preview of the future, it was kind of depressing. And tell you another thing that the crystal ball shows us for sure, I think, even more empty seats at Busch Stadium in 2026 and beyond. So this is what it looks like at the end of an era when things fall apart and go kaboom. And, the team makes all kinds of mistakes in their messaging and making promises they can't keep, trying to fool fans into believing that the team is better than it is, just the hustle game. And that's coming to an end because the Cardinals can no longer get away with that. And that's one good thing. Hey, a few guys did okay offensively over the last 3 games, but we're going to focus on the last 2 games because it was really bad baseball. So a few guys did fine during those 2 days. Lars Nootbaar and Ivan Herrera for sure. We also like what we saw from the rookie catcher Jimmy Crooks, who homered in his first major league start on Sunday in Cincinnati. But I'm going to read you a list of hitters that combined for 38 at-bats in the Sunday and Monday losses, and then I'm going to give you the combined stats for what they did over the 2 games. Jordan Walker, Thomas Sajaci, Nolan Gorman, Cesar Prieto, Nathan Church, Garrett Hampson. Those 6 batters combined for 3 hits in 38 at-bats and struck out 19 times. But this offense and this rotation have been awful for a long time now. I've been giving you the play-by-play on it and the particulars just so you were on top of what the trends were. But I always feel like I have to keep doing it again because some people, including guys that, guys should know better who are broadcasters and whatnot on the TV side, they act like this losing and this bad stuff just started happening. It's been going on since it's been going on since June the 30th. Since peaking at 9 games above 500 at 47-38, after sweeping the Guardians during that weekend series in Cleveland, the Cardinals have gone 21-33 for a .389 winning percentage that's tied for 13th in the National League and 28th overall. That tells you it is not a good team. It is a bad team. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't even know how they've managed to stay 3 games below 500, which is where they are now. But it's not a good team. And it's a team where you say, well, you got to play the young kids, and that's a good thing. Yeah, in theory, it's a good thing. But what if the young kids don't really get better? And we're seeing some of that, aren't we? And oh, by the way, just a reminder, Lars Nootbaar's not a kid, nor is Brendan Donovan, okay? A lot of people just throw that term around loosely. So let's actually recognize young players who are, in fact, young players, okay? And the results, I'm being polite, the results are mixed, I would say. I'll review some of the particulars later. But as I pointed out in my written Redbird review column that I posted Friday, this is one of the things that really is troublesome because you can't be dominated by fastballs if you're hitters, and you can't have a pitching staff where you don't get swing and miss and you don't get strikeouts because you don't throw good fastballs or hard fastballs. And so the hitters at the plate really don't have much to worry about. This is a deep-rooted fundamental flaw. This is a thing where the philosophy is not in step with the times, and the roster construction not in step with the times. You got to have batters who hit fastballs, 95+ mile-an-hour fastballs, and you better get more pitchers in here who can get some swing and miss, because even Sonny Gray doesn't do that as much as he should or the way he used to. So the Cardinals are near the bottom of the 30 major league teams in their hitting performance against high velocity fastballs, and only 2 major league teams have thrown fewer 95+ miles an hour fastballs than the Cardinals. They're losing, as I said the other day, they're losing the arms race, as in throw ball fast arms race, both ends of the spectrum. In an era of baseball when power is the dominant force, the Cardinals can't fight fire with fire. When you can't hit 95+ fastballs and you can't sling a lot of effective 95+ mile an hour fastballs, well, guess what? You're pretty helpless is what it is. And their record since June 30th reflected that. Since the All-Star break, the Cardinals' best hitter, statistically, it is true, is the catcher Pedro Pagés. Since the All-Star break, it isn't Contreras, it isn't Donovan, it isn't Gorman, it isn't Nootbaar, it isn't Mason Wynn, right on down the line. Since the All-Star break, their best hitter is Pedro Pagés. He leads his teammates in slugging percentage, OPS, and weighted runs created plus. That's 30% above league average offensively. Pagés is your best hitter since the All-Star break. No disrespect to him, because he's been excellent offensively since the All-Star break. But when Pedro Pagés is, in fact, your team's best hitter over 6 weeks, then what the heck does that say about your offense? Woo! And on the other side of the pitching side, since the All-Star break, rookie Michael McGreevy's got the best starting pitching ERA at 4.15. And unlike his rotation mates, he's allowed less than 1 home run per 9 innings. He keeps the ball in the yard. again, it's no offense to McGreevy. And again, let's all laugh again. The fact that they waited so long before putting him in the rotation. I mean, wow. Anyway, but when Michael McGreevy, again, I love watching the dude pitch. He's a great competitor. Keeps the ball in the yard. But when he's outperforming your $25 million ace, Sonny Gray, that shouldn't be happening, period. More on Sonny Gray here in a minute. And when I return for my second segment, the final segment of the Bernie Show, I'll talk more about the quadruple A Cardinals. This mix of major league and minor league players. Not quite major league good, probably a little slightly better than AAA baseball. Maybe that's a little harsh, but I think the principle stands. But first, it's DraftKings time. Exciting news. Missouri, get ready. The wait is almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State, and you can sign up today. New Missouri customers can get $300 in bonus bets when we launch on December the 1st. Coming up soon. Download now and place a $5 bet when DraftKings Sportsbook goes live. It's not live yet, but we expect it'll be live around December the 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all from your phone. And when we officially go live in Missouri, you'll be betting with the Sportsbook app trusted by millions. It's safe, it's secure, and it has fast money withdrawals. Here's what I've got to tell you, Tim. Now listen carefully to this. This is some of that stuff. You got to make sure you get this thing and get it soon. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code STL Sports to grab $300 in bonus bets with $5 bet with just a $5 bet. Let me do that again. Use the code STL Sports to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live on December the 1st. That's code STL Sports in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. You must be 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offers. Terms at sportsbook.com's DraftKings.com/promos. All right, welcome back to the second segment of today's Bernie Show. And here's a reminder to do us a favor, please, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the like button. Since sweeping the Guardians, the Cardinals have played 54 games, and their starting pitchers have an ERA of 6.04 that ranks 14th in the National League and 28th overall. The offense hasn't exactly been the cavalry coming to the rescue because over the last 54 games since June 30th, the St. Louis offense is last in the National League in average runs scored per game, tied for last in the National League in batting average, is last in the NL in on-base percentage, is last in the NL in slugging percentage, and is last in the NL in OPS and isolated power. Get the picture? Yeah. I mean, do you understand how bad this is? I think we all do. As I told you last week, in fact, if you combine the two things I've talked about, this is one of the weakest offenses in a season and one of the very poorest starting rotation performances in a season over the 30 years since Bill DeWitt became the franchise owner in 1996. Now, I want to address this too. The Cardinals, they have been dealing with injury-related losses. And by the way, they were only the Philadelphia Phillies in the first half of the season. Only the Phillies had fewer games lost by players to injury. So the Cardinals were very, very fortunate. But as I said at the time, that's nice, but they didn't take full advantage of it. And then the other thing, the injury bug's going to catch everybody sooner or later. So I'm not going to get out the violin, though. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to start sobbing on camera because they got a few guys hurt. The Cardinals have been dealing with injury-related losses to Alec Burleson, Brendan Donovan, Victor Scott, Nolan Arenado. Did I leave anybody out? But that's before that, it was Lars Nootbaar. But again, that's no excuse for being this sorry offensively. It just isn't. Here's why I say that. Burleson, yes, absolutely. Since late April has been consistently good and has put up really good numbers. But other than that, let's not get carried away and make a bunch of excuses because here I go again. Somebody's got to actually put this out there and do it repeatedly. And that would be me because it has to be noted. In his last 56 games before going on the IL, Brendan Donovan batted .225. He had a really low .306 on base percentage, much lower when he normally is, and a weak .329 slugging percentage. So, yeah, no, you'd rather see Brendan Donovan playing. I'm not disputing that, but let's not act like, well, because he's out of the lineup, things fell apart. The lineup was already going down the tubes when he was in there over the last 56 games before he went on the IL, all right? Nolan Arenado, he was hit hard by age-related decline. He's just a shadow of the hitter he used to be. He's having his worst major league season. Not even close. Absolutely his worst season. So what? So because he's out of the lineup, just now the offense started unraveling. Oh, Donovan and Arenado are out. They don't strike out much. They don't do. Yeah, but they weren't hitting much either before both of them went down with injuries. Victor Scott, he plays an exceptional center field. His defense is wonderful. But check this out. It's worse than I thought, to be honest with you. After a solid start to the season offensively, Scott, since the start of July, has batted .173. And if you go by weighted runs created plus, not only is he hitting .173, but he is 50%, 50% below league average offensively since the start of July. There's a simple reason why this Cardinals offense has been the worst in the majors over the last 54 games, going back to June 30th. There isn't enough talent, period. You got prospects who failed to deliver on their promise, and I gotta say, Jordan Walker looks worse than he ever has. Just gets worse and worse and worse. So you got prospects that have failed to deliver on their promise. Nolan Gorman's case, yeah, he's been doing better, and I've touted that, but he's had a pretty rough stretch here lately. Well, he really didn't do anything the last two games. He did drive in a run. But, Gorman has come on a bit. But, it's also fair to say with him, his career has been inconsistent. But with Jordan Walker, man, just sinks deeper and deeper into the quicksand. So anyway, you got the prospects who haven't delivered. You got veterans who got old early. You got veterans who play hard and run around and throw their bodies around and they get hurt. Talking about Brendan Donovan. You got other hitters that are comically overrated by media and fans. And the Cardinals have fallen, as I pointed out, and I will continue to point out, the Cardinals have fallen terribly behind in the Powerball race. There's no other way to put it. When you can't hit fastballs and you can't throw fastballs in ways that gets the other team out reliably, you're losing the fastball race. There's no excuse for Sonny Gray. Absolutely not. He's supposed to be the ace, and he isn't close to performing at that level. And if he is a number one starter, then he's a number one starter in title only. He was a legit number one for much of last season, but that is not the case in 2025. And, memo to the people, and listen, I've been guilty of this, to point out the Cardinals' great record when he starts. Okay, part of that is because he's had some dynamite starts this year, some really outstanding starts. No one's denying it, but the consistency's not there at all. And when he's bad, he's really bad. But for the people who want to continue to tout that, well, the Cardinals are whatever it is, 19-9 when he starts this year, whatever that is, it's close to it. There's a thing called run support. You might want to look into that. Sonny Gray's gotten very good run support this year. So again, don't twist the numbers around to fit some kind of apologist agenda, okay? Can we play it straight for once? Just play it straight. Among 67 major league starting pitchers that have worked at least 40 innings since the All-Star break, 67 of them. Gray ranked 64th among 67 with a 6.44 ERA. And he's even worse, 65th of 67 in his home runs allowed rate of 2.32 homers given up per 9 innings. When you're a number one or whatever, media calls him, or, is he an ace? And he's an ace. He's had a few bad starts. No, it's actually worse than that. He's been one of the worst starting pitchers, one of the three or four worst starting pitchers in the majors since the All-Star break. Except for McGreevy, the other Cardinals starting pitchers if you go back to June 30th, have combined for a 6.45 ERA over the last 54 games. And by the way, what is Sonny Gray going to look like next year at 54? At age, I shouldn't say 54, at age 36. Maybe he's been pitching like he's 54. No, I just had a typo in there from when I was talking about the last 54 games. Anyway, his strikeout rate continues to drop. He can't throw fastballs by hitters early in counts. That's why the A's were bludgeoning him early in counts yesterday. And Gray is due to make a guaranteed $35 million in salary next season, even if he was willing to waive his no trade clause. How many teams would want Gray at a price of $35 million next year when all signs point down as far as age-related decline? See, this is what rebuilding looks like. And we are in the second year of rebuilding. No, this is the first year of rebuilding. Next year will be the second year of rebuilding. But rebuilding started this year. That's the point I need to make more and more and more. This right now is what rebuilding looks like. And it's been that way for months now. Young hitters aren't ready, or they just ain't good enough. Older hitters stand in the way of progress because of payroll commitments and because of stubborn payroll politics. Aging pitchers are vulnerable and hittable or just plain lousy. And this team is losing the fastball battle as hitters and as pitchers. As I keep telling you, Chaim Bloom is planning to rebuild the Cardinals with a low and slowed method. As I've said a few times, using the metaphor, I'm probably wearing it out, and I apologize. But if you want succulent ribs and brisket, you can't just crank up the smoker at a high temp and throw them on just so you get them done faster. Nope. You need to go with the low temp and a much longer cooking time, unless, of course, you prefer tough and dry barbecue that tastes like leather. And I don't think a lot of Cardinals fans will tolerate a longer rebuild, a low and slowed rebuild. I keep getting emails about who do you think they're going to sign as free agents? It ain't going to be anybody that excites you, and don't kill me for being the messenger, okay? But this rebuild had already started this year, and it's going to intensify next season. No rush jobs, no shortcuts, low and slow. And Chaim Bloom, when he talks about this for the first time, whenever that will be, he will be telling Cardinals fans just that. There will not be any false promises. He is going to be as honest and sincere and genuine and straightforward with straight talk about what his plan is. And it's not going to be something that people are going to rejoice in. But at least the man will tell you the truth instead of trying to play you. We've already seen that Cardinals fans, what they're not willing to tolerate, and they're not willing to tolerate a quadruple A ball club. We know this because all you have to do is look at all the empty seats at Busch Stadium, and there's your answer. So I guess the diehards are down to about 25,000. It's just a matter of keeping them instead of having more defections over the offseason. But the sooner Bloom continues down this path, the sooner they'll get back to what they need to be in terms of philosophy, foundation of talent, young talent, cost-controlled talent, payroll efficiency, all the stuff that they fell way behind in. And again, I'm going to repeat it because people need to hear it over and over again. Cardinals have outspent the Brewers by $350 million on payroll since the start of 2017. And whose ass is getting kicked in that battle between the two teams? Yeah, I believe that's the Cardinals, right? Despite spending $350 million more. That's all I got for today. I thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel and for our extensive coverage of all the local teams that you care about. Thanks for joining me on The Bernie Show, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours.